we were getting, from a capital perspective, pretty tight. So I couldn't hire a team. I was the team. So for the first 96 days that we were open, I worked every single day, usually 10-hour days. And while I wouldn't necessarily recommend that someone do it that way, um, if you're a knucklehead like I am, sometimes you have to do stuff, screw it up, and then you learn. And that's pretty much what I did during those first 96 days. It allowed me to get in, learn the business. And honestly, the most fun part about this whole business is meeting the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to meet a ton of people, even those that I didn't speak the same language as. And I'm slowly improving my Spanish. But it really allowed me to learn the community, learn where they were from, what they do. And I actually have a lot of friends that were my customers first. And I still see them in there. We talk about their kids, we talk about my kids, and it's really an awesome thing to be a part of building something essentially from the ground up, that you have people who rely on you every single week.
Mm-hmm.
That's just awesome.
Okay, so you were a one-man show for 96 days. Not that you were
Yeah.
counting, but 96 exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so how did you evolve from there into balancing, okay, I have enough revenue to start to build a team, and what were those core components and what did that look like? Because I'm not sure that, we could sit here and tell stories of building laundromats and water problems forever and ever, and I do think that's very helpful. But let's be honest, I think one of the biggest problems in our industry with operators that we all struggle with, us included, is building a team, but then managing a team.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 1,000,000%. The first thing I did when I decided it was time to hire a team was I literally just put a sign up on my front desk and said, now hiring. And my first, I would say probably 6 or 7 employees were all customers. And I spent the time with them. As soon as I hired them, I would sit down with them and I told them my story.
Mm-hmm.
I told them my history. I told them I'm always upfront with people and tell them I'm a Christian. Number one, because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I want them to know kind of where my mindset's coming from. But I would explain to them, hey, look, we are right in the middle. I don't think I said this earlier, but we are right in the middle of 7 other laundromats within a 2-mile radius.
Wow.
So our customers have a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
We have to set ourselves apart. And how are we going to do that? Well, number one, it's going to be about the atmosphere, right? I talked about that earlier. And I put great machines in there. I made it nice, open, and airy. Now it's your job to ensure that it's clean. People see your smile when they come inside, and that they know you. I mean, I smile whenever I hear the change machine and all the coins drop. That's great, right? I love that. Have to have it. But I smile even more when a customer walks in the door and one of my employees greets them by name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's it right there. That's what you want. And we had so many people come into our store and say, we come to see you because of your employees.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to come see this mug, let's go see them. And it just really makes all the difference in the world. Essentially, I was able to take my vision in my head, sit down with each employee and say, I need you to take this and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does everybody do that? No. Unfortunately, they don't. But I had a few right from the beginning that really did. They, I showed them what I had learned during those 96 days of how to clean, how to treat people, how to take care of the machines, how to just deal with problems that pop up. And they would take what I taught them and expand on it. So I would come in one day and they would be doing something totally different to the way I showed them how to do it. And I'd be like, hey, so why are you guys doing this like this? Oh, well, we do it because of blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it just really was important that that whole vision I told you in the beginning about disrupting the market,
Mm-hmm.
that I taught them how to be disruptors. I taught my team how to be disruptors so that they don't take any experience that they had going into a laundromat before and bring that here.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the whole thought process when we opened our second store, was let's pick up what we have right here and let's put it
Mm-hmm.
over here.
That's the beauty of building something that is fantastic and that serves the industry, is then you can scale it. Way too many people get that cart before the horse, and they try to scale and then reverse engineer. And I always tell them, build that first one and figure out your model. Doesn't have to be perfect. You'll always be evolving, but figure out the baseline for what your company is going to be, which is typically based on your integrity and your character and your faith and all these different things that go into making us who we are. And then build a team around, a core team is what I always say. And that can be one person or 3 or 10. And then you know how to replicate it. You know what that looks like, because you just made that sound pretty simple, but you and I all both know it's not simple. It's not simple
right
at all.
And I'll add this too. Coming up in the corporate world, I saw a lot of leaders who, as they would go from leadership position to leadership position, they always had a right hand person that would move along with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned early, I need to find people who could potentially become my right hand person,
Mm-hmm.
and try and groom those folks, tell them what I'm thinking about why I'm doing something. I would explain to them, okay, hey guys, girls, we need to raise our prices, and here's why we're doing it. Gas prices are increasing, water prices are increasing, whatever it is. Explain to them my thought process for everything that I was doing to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things they don't need to know the insides out. But the things that were key to what they were doing day to day, I needed them to understand why. And some people would just take that and just, okay, all right, whatever. But then I had a couple that just took it and like really, put it on their brain and let that guide them every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 2 employees that started out as part-time, to a Hispanic lady. So they're bilingual, which is an added bonus.
Yeah.
And they just loved what they were doing. And I made sure that I treated my employees with respect. I understood that sometimes life happened, and I try and be respectful of that. And I try to reward them every time I possibly could. And so I had 2 employees specifically that really grew in that model. And now one of them is the store manager of that first store, and the other one is the store manager of the new store.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I always knew I wanted to grow this thing, but I knew this guy can't do it by himself.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of my mindset in building the team.
Go ahead, Carla.
What is your current management structure then? Do you have, so it's you on top, and then do you just have the 2 store managers and then employees under that, or are there any other levels?
Yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. As we looking at add a third store, then I'll start to look at a general manager position that kind of manages above all and would take a little bit more of my responsibilities. But in each store, we have a store manager, and we don't have a set like assistant manager or a team lead. We kind of have what I call key employees in each one of those stores. So these are the people that I know that I can communicate with directly. If the manager is unavailable or if they're on vacation, that I can count on to pick up the slack. And they're essentially my bench for future growth.
Mhm.
So I have to make sure that as long as the managers are performing, which I don't doubt that they ever will not do that, I take care of them and I take care of that bench.
What kind of tasks do your store managers, like what all are they responsible for? And what do you still do yourself?
So the managers today are responsible for obviously the day-to-day running of the store itself. They manage the employees, they manage schedules, they manage all the drop-off. At my new store was where we do our pickup and delivery, and we have our larger commercial clients up there, and we do all that work at that store because it's larger and we have ozone there. But she manages all the day-to-day operation of those things as well to ensure everything's running smoothly. My day-to-day typically involves obviously anything dealing with the money. There are times where I trust my managers to manage some of the money pieces if I'm unavailable or my wife is unavailable. But for the most part, I'm taking care of growing the team, marketing, um, sales to a certain extent, and just kind of generating the overall vision for our growth and future. And then, yeah, I do collect the coins. We could talk about card versus coin too, because obviously with scale, you're going to have more efficient processes when it
Mhm.
comes to dealing with coins.